And we're back with more exciting adventures of the Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
We're going to merge two topics.
Yes.
We did this on the last second here. We had one topic, then we thought another topic we liked better, so we just figured to mix them.
Yes.
Recently, HBO had a mini-series called...
Chernobyl.
Oh, you threw me off the way you said it.
Am I saying it wrong?
No. You do, just do you. Just say it. Say it. How did you say that?
Chernobyl.
Okay. So... See, my hick ass says Chernobyl. Chernobyl. You're probably saying it right. But my hillbilly ass has said Chernobyl so long that that's the way it's said. So when you say that's right, knowing you probably looked it up. That's the way you probably really say it. And so when you say it, I'm like, well, that's fucking wrong. But in reality, I'm probably wrong. So when you said it, I'm just kind of like, what?
Well, for the next 15 minutes, either way, we're going to accept it.
Yeah, you just keep doing your thing, and but no, I'm going to say Chernobyl. Because I'm going to make a ch-ch-ch-ch. And you're doing a sh.
Well, sometimes I get stuck. Because I couldn't say... I still don't think I can say the word S-P-H-E-R-E. I keep saying it wrong.
S-P-H...
S-P-H-E-R-E.
Sphere?
I keep saying it sphere, and it's I put too much.
Why you add a C-H?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like
I'm saying it wrong.
No, sphere. Yeah, sphere. That's weird. That's almost like a Goldfinger, or
Oh yeah.
The kind of like he would say it or something.
Yeah, he's his father. Oh, his father. Yeah.
All right, Chernobyl, or Chernobyl, however you say it. Was on HBO.
Yes.
HBO does have a streaming service.
Yes, they do.
That was the original subject. We were going to talk about streaming services versus movies, but then we started talking about Chernobyl. So let's just mix the topics. What do you think of Chernobyl, the miniseries, HBO?
That was great. 4 stars. I mean, it's, if memory serves, it's 5 episodes, I think. Just it's fantastic. You got great performances, great directing, really well put together. They did their homework. Whoever the screenwriter did a very good job with the background and really kind of diving into the personalities. But also, I think for people who don't know a thing about nuclear power and nuclear power stations,
I learned a lot. Yeah,
you learn a lot. And it's put together in such a way that you understand it. They're very conscious that the uninitiated are going to be watching, so they don't want to lose you. And so they deserve props for that as well. Really shows, if it hasn't already been established, these straight to streaming product films, miniseries are top notch. I remember there was a time where TV movies were you kind of a joke because you knew they were just inferior, glorified B movies, what have you. But these are first-rate productions that they're making now. I mean, Good Omens. That's another one I saw recently, which the CGI in it was terrific. Great performances. That was just a fun show, and Chernobyl is just a great miniseries. If you haven't seen it, it does depict that meltdown at that nuclear power plant there in Russia in 1986. So if you're curious, you definitely want to see it.
I remember I was 10 in '86, and I remember it dominated the news. But being a 10-year-old, I didn't really care too much.
Right.
It was amazing how much of it I remembered, or just kind of headline parts I kind of remembered. But the series is phenomenal, so well written. I don't know how accurate it is from a historical perspective. I'm only just going to take it at face value, based on an entertainment piece. That's for somebody else to decide accuracy. Just based off what I'm given in terms of content of the, it's amazing. It's one of the, if it's not the best miniseries ever, it's a top 5er for sure. I mean, I've always thought Lonesome Dove was kind of my favorite TV miniseries ever.
Yeah, that's one of the greats.
And I would put Chernobyl right up there with it. Jared Harris, oh my God, if he doesn't just walk away with the Emmy for Best Actor in a Miniseries, or however they classify the award, I mean, honestly, if it was a movie, he should walk away with the Oscar for Best Actor. He's so good. He is so good.
Yeah.
That conveying that frustration with this monolithic system that he just cannot beat, but he's trying so hard for their own sake, and they listen to him, but then they don't listen to him, and ultimately, you know, it's been out long enough, and it's also somewhat historical. I mean, he personally doesn't persevere. He managed to save his people in lots of ways, but at his own detriment. You know,
right?
Ultimately, he doesn't. Ultimately, his fate is sealed, but he does probably save millions upon millions of his, you know, fellow countrymen. But
yeah,
the production value, it feels so real. Even the extras and the supporting actors are so good. That's so rare to see. Like the guy that plays the head of the mining crew, you know, and they come in and the fat little round guy, and they strip butt naked to work in the mines. He is good. So even like the supporting cast, you know, down into the fifth and sixth level of different supporting actors are so good. Feels so authentic. It's one of the most authentic feeling shows maybe ever. I mean, it really did create that world, and you really felt you were there.
Yeah, it doesn't get grotesque with some of the things. I mean, you could show the deterioration a human goes through from severe radiation poisoning. It could have been a lot more gruesome than it, but they show enough to get the point across. So there's restraint there, because you don't want that stuff to get too far gruesome and just get away from your overall story.
Turn into a schlock fest.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. So it's very tastefully done. Is it Stellan Skarsgård? He plays the main general or overseer of this
they have a
disaster
name.
project. That's a great performance too. Really, a man who slowly learns and it comes to trust the advisor played by Jared Harris, what they're up against. And
let's call it ministers. What were they called in the show? He was the head of the X whatever ministry. Was that right?
I can't remember. I can't remember either, but that sounds like that might be right.
Anyway.
At any rate, just the idea that radiation can go through walls. It's when it gets that bad, the radiation is that intense. It can literally go through walls. It can't be stopped.
Yeah.
And within a matter of just a couple of hours, it went from Ukraine all the way over into Scandinavia.
Yeah.
That should scare the piss out of anybody, you know. So that is certainly conveyed. That reality is conveyed in the film. I mean, they had to build a temporary shelter over it just to try to slow it down.
Yeah.
And they just 2 years ago built a thing almost as big as Cowboy Stadium over that to try to slow it down. And the UN helped fund that, and it took them 20 years to put that project to complete it. Yeah, it's crazy. So they're still dealing with that tragedy.
Probably, well, even at the end of our lifetime, there'll still be issues there. You know.
Yeah, they had a timeline of, I was reading, where in 2000. They're going to start it here, I think, in 10 years. But they've already contracted this company to go in, and they're going to use robots to like vacuum out that sand and that like the nuclear lava and all that out of there. And they said it'll take them like 50 years, so they won't be done with it till like 2060.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what a mess. What literally happened in a matter of 30 minutes, and it's going to take
forever,
almost a century to fix.
A lifetime, basically.
Yeah.
Basically take a lifetime to fix. Yeah, there'll be
And all they had to do was just abort the test before the coolant lost power to the generator. That's all they had to do. But you had bureaucrats that...
Arrogance.
Yeah, just wanted to keep the test going.
So, that aired on regular HBO, but then it was also made available on HBO streaming services.
Yes.
So, segueing now into our original topic that's going to be a show, but we decided to cover Chernobyl too, because you and I had done a show since Chernobyl came out. Do you see yourself, let's just say 5 years from now, so it's not, so it doesn't feel so like immediate.
Okay.
So if you say a year from now, that's a little too immediate.
Soon.
5 years from now, where it's a little bit, where it's more trajectory. You know, we can project a little bit more. Do you think you will have given way to just streaming and you're staying home, and the movies are reserved only for like the most special of events, like say an Avengers Endgame, or are you just done? Or do you just stay a consistent moviegoer? Will you give way to streaming all the way?
In 5 years.
Say 5 years.
I would...
It's impossible to predict the future. I mean...
Sure.
We could potentially have a whole different president, or we could be, we'll say 5 years now, which could be at the end of Trump's second term-ish. A lot of things going to happen.
Sure.
Culturally.
I'm leaning toward that. I'm kind of banking that the experience at movies, I don't think is going to improve. Some of these things, these annoyances, are just going to be with us.
Okay.
And my tolerance for it as I get older just keeps getting lower. I just don't have there's no high bar there of tolerance. The last movie I just got through seeing Tuesday night, and I told you off camera my disappointing experience. Mm-hmm. The first of many, I might add, over the last 5 years. Yeah. I could see in 5 years just totally me being a streaming guy only, because...
Have you gone past Prime, or do you have other services yet? Because if you're watching this show, folks, remember, he's slow to grab on these things. Like, he took a while to get to Prime, and I'm still working him on getting him on Netflix and things.
Yeah, you got me off the old typewriter. And
well, remember, you're the guy that used the Razor. You and Daniel Day-Lewis were the last two guys on Earth.
Had a rotary phone. Yes, me and Daniel Day-Lewis were the last.
Company. That's good company to be in.
Had a Razor. I loved my Razor too.
If it's cool with Daniel Day-Lewis, it's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I love that thing. It gave out before I did. Unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, I'm only on Prime right now.
Okay.
As a service, been tempted to go Netflix. However, all this Disney stuff, you keep hearing about Disney coming out, and
I'll be getting the Disney. I'll be getting the Apple one too.
So at this moment, because I'm enjoying Prime so much,
you're just content there.
I'm kind of content there right now. Just kind of let's see what happens with this Netflix Disney war. I'm kind of leaning toward doing that. Right now, I have a ton of stuff I'm still watching. I mean, don't laugh at me, but right now, I'm bouncing between like 3 shows just to keep things interesting.
What's the laugh about that?
The shows might amuse you.
Okay.
I'm watching.
Here we go. Because Barney Miller.
No. I'm
Bonanza.
Watching, no. The original Magnum P.I. I never got to watch when I was a kid.
That's interesting.
When I was a kid, I always had to do flipping homework every time it was on. I always wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
So here I am as an adult, in my 40s, and I finally get around to watching Magnum P.I. Mm-hmm. So I'm on season 2 of it. I'm on season 3 of a sci-fi show called Warehouse 13. It's a lot of fun.
Heard of that.
If people are interested in a more fun version of X-Files than Warehouse 13,
I feel I've heard that name before. Okay.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Okay.
So I've been bouncing around there and
What's the third show?
The third show,
Murder, She Wrote.
No,
Oh.
it's like comfort food. I've been watching a lot of Addams Family.
What's wrong with that, man? Addams Family is great.
I've been watching a lot of that lately.
They have the monsters?
And
have the monsters?
They don't have monsters yet on. Of course, I have that on video, so I can watch it anytime. But
well, see, I bought the Boomerang app. I embrace all the streaming stuff. I have the Boomerang one, so I've been watching the Looney Tunes a lot.
Oh, the classic shorts.
Yeah,
awesome,
the ones we grew up with. They have almost on Boomerang. Now they don't have Speedy Gonzalez. So there's a little bit of that whole bullshit, PC bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic because in Mexico they love him.
They love him, yeah. They think he's great. An icon.
So like, if it's good enough for the Mexicans who claim it insults, shit, air it.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
You woke sons of bitches run everything. I swear to God. I about had it.
They need to.
I'm up to here. I'm off the screen with all this woke shit. Ruin everything.
Yeah, it'd be nice if everybody wasn't so easily offended, or at least pretending to be easily offended. Yeah. Either one is bad. You know. Yeah. We have a right in this country to be free, but not to be free from being offended. If you're just offended, then don't watch that or don't associate with that person.
Pursuit of happiness. Not
yes.
Happiness.
Yes.
All right, but anyway, keep going.
So anyway, I've enjoyed that. There's a lot of like movies. I tried to watch that Young Indiana Jones, by the way,
and
the series. It's god awful.
Is it that bad?
It's terrible.
Is it slow? Is it boring? What's wrong with it?
It is like it's bland. It's slow, and it's like they're trying to be like edutainment. You know, instead of like telling a story that has an adventure, it's like it too much wants to like, well, ending was going on when this thing in real history went on. You know, remember those really awful cartoons where it had these characters from Hanna-Barbera. These kids would go back in time and watch like Moses part the Red Sea.
Oh yeah, we had
that kind of shtick.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it like with Indiana Jones. He goes back and sees how they made the Panama Canal or something, and you're just like, what?
Wow.
And,
see,
and they do it in a dull way too. You're like, oh, I don't.
Well, see, when those came out, for whatever reason, I didn't watch them. And I remember like people telling you, "Hey, it's not like the movies where it's nonstop action and stuff. It's like, it's not that." And then you would hear people over the years going, "Oh my God, it's amazing," and I'm like, "Well, I never got around to watching it." But for some reason, they're really hard to find on video. So I guess they're on streaming now.
Yeah.
Well, see, for years they were kind of like hidden, and I always kind of wondered. That's kind of suspicious because most Lucasfilm stuff is widely available. You know,
yeah.
Because even on Lucasfilm's Instagram, they still pimp out American Graffiti, and I'm like, that's.
And speaking
weird.
of pimping out, apparently they, and I know this is all bullshit, but after the show got canceled, that guy that's the producer, Rick McCallum, for Lucasfilm, has been going around. He went around to all these schools and said, well, we always intended this as an educational series and try to get schools to like watch it and show it to kids and all that. And like part of like a school learning kit and things like that. Curriculum, and all that. And of course no school picked it up. They said, now get out of here. And I think on its face, everyone remembered when that came out on NBC, everyone thought it was an adventure show. And that's the way they build it. And that's what we thought we were getting. And then when we watch it, and you're like, there's nothing going on. And then they had Sean Patrick Flannery play the teenage Indiana Jones. He's like clumsy, like Clark Kent.
Okay.
You know, he's like dropping over everything. It's like, that is not Indiana Jones. We've seen River Phoenix as teenage Indiana Jones. That's been established. Mm-hmm. He was not a klutz. I just turned it off. I couldn't. It was like the third or fourth episode I got into it, and I'm watching this klutzy Indiana Jones. I thought this is not even true to the character.
It wasn't charming klutzy. I mean, klutzy works if it's
no, it was
charming.
lame. It was lame.
Okay, klutzy's fine if it's charming. Christopher Reeve's Superman is charming.
Yes.
It's
fair point.
Yeah, it's charming.
But here it was lame.
Lame. Right. Well, the question is though, I know we got sidetracked, which we do that anyway. That's fine.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Hokes, folks, don't you?
The question is, we see where time wise over 20 minutes. I couldn't read the thing.
Okay.
So, where do movies fit in your life 5 years now? Now that you are in the streaming game with the rest of us.
You're talking about movie releases at the theater.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Avengers. 5 years from now, Avengers 15 comes out. And it is a big epic release. It's been built up over a whole other set. All right. And it's a big thing. And it comes out. What do you do?
We've touched on this a little bit before, but never to this extent. I think I've hinted at this. But tonight you're going to get maybe an exclusive.
Okay.
I got to tell you, once I see Rise of Skywalker, that's the reason why I got into movies to begin with. I've already told these people, Luke Skywalker, for a lot of our generation, is the reason why we give 2 ounces of shit about movies anyway.
Okay.
Once I see Rise of Skywalker, and depending how good or bad that movie is, it's going to say a lot about how much give a shit I have about anything else. Marvel is finished with Endgame. The Lord of the Rings and
Hobbit. They're also another phase, though, aren't they?
Another phase, but I'm not really care about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not like they gave us a 4-star classic in Endgame. It's okay, but anyway, I could totally see me after Rise of Skywalker going, okay, that's it. That's been fun. Last 35 years, whatever. Okay, and be content to just stream. I could totally see myself doing that because I'm just so, Star Wars was it, and they screwed it up. Or at least they have recently with Last Jedi.
Wow.
That's how bad Last Jedi is. It has soured me on movies.
Early word is Mandalorian's amazing, and guess what? That's streaming content.
Well,
so you might this last quarter of 2019 might set your fate for streaming versus film, or theater rather.
Yeah,
streaming versus theater.
Yeah.
Well, I probably am always going to go to the movies in various shades. I mean, I'm that guy who can go to the movies by myself. It doesn't have to be a communal thing to me. I mean, I go with my kids, I go with you, whatever, that's fine. But I can go by myself too. So if that's the only way I see a movie and I'm really hyped to see it, I'll go to the movies. And I think 5 years from now that won't change. The Mule came out at Christmas time with Clint Eastwood, and I randomly had a window to go in the afternoon, so I went. So that will always kind of be the thing for me, because if I really want to see it that bad enough, and I'm impatient enough that I'll just go.
Yeah.
Having said that, we do have more choices, and Waco, where we live, is getting more choices of theaters, and so I don't have to be as loyal to theaters as I used to be, and that's coming. That's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where we live, this town's about to get 2 new options here in a year and a half, 2 years from now.
And Temple has 2 great two great theaters.
Yeah.
And that's not not that big a deal to go down there. So you have options for theaters.
There's options.
So one of the problems I've had with theaters is the quality of the experience, and that involves other moviegoers, and that involves all kinds of factors. So what I see myself going in 5 years, but short leash on the theater. I'm not going to name names because it's not really appropriate to do, but there's a particular theater here in town that I won't go to except for if it's in one particular screen, and I'll just leave it at that. If it's on that screen, I'll go. If it's not that screen, I'm not going. I'll just wait for streaming, or I'll go to the other theater. If the other theater doesn't have it, I'll just might do without.
But just in general, a lot of the franchises that, as a kid, because they didn't have the technology like with CGI, so you really couldn't do a good superhero movie, for example. Well, you were limited. You had to keep
Yeah.
it, like Superman the movie. They had to kind of do a lot of blue screen and stuff like that. But they finally have gotten a lot of those films made, and at least Marvel's side of the aisle did a good job. And then DC has The Dark Knight, and after Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, I'm ready to, ride off into the sunset. Kind of like Shane in the end, a little banged up, but
possibly even dead.
Possibly dead, but riding to the next town, the next adventure.
Speaking of being
which is streaming.
Speaking of being possibly dead,